Okay, this is going to be a very exciting little video. Something you should really smile. How to make the most out of your college career. That's going to, like your scheduling. And when should you do certain things. So, yep, hi, my name is Hannah, and I've been through 4 years of an issue, but hey, my general tips can follow anybody, anywhere in the country or across the world. Well, mostly in the country, because everything I'm about to talk about is basically from the U.S. So, my number one tip I've worked on first and foremost is how I got in. At Nicholson University, I did, followed by the 6 months prior to coming to campus. Well, here's the why part, because why part, we didn't know COVID was going to happen, but COVID did happen when I registered. And not just that, it took me long enough to get across all the paperwork. Like, it took me a bit to get my vaccines, because I had to get that vaccine certificate in my hands. I had to get my high school transcript. The college transcript, it already, once I paid for it, they faxed it over, no harm, no foul, and get a non-filer tax return, which, if you're disabled, that's what they call it. But first and foremost, I had to sign on the registration with that school. Your school will have a registration that, or admissions process, you have to go with. It means you go on the website, you type admissions, you type or click apply, you apply to that institution first. You tell the institution what is your program. Mine was music. I'm going to relate. I was an ed major at first, but I decided to switch to Bachelor of the Arts due to it would just would take me longer to finish, because, and also my financial aid, they kind of stopped after 180 hours, because 180 is what is necessary for a bachelor's. But I'm gonna probably talk about that in another date, to keep a look. For that one. So anyways, I did my registration, and to give them the 6 months notice about me going into institution, and this is going to give me time to prepare for whatever they ask of me at that point. Secondly, I fill out the song called FAFSA. FAFSA is your so you have to fill that out 6 months prior to. That is your FAFSA. And you fill out all your information. If you're 25 and over, I believe they count you as an independent student. That means you don't ask about your parents' tax information, and so on. If you're not required to file, some schools require you get a non-filer's tax return, which I had to call the IRS building, the national building, say I need a non-filer tax return during COVID. You have to remember that bull. But that's the bull crap I had to go through. And I also had to get in touch with my care team over at Strawberry. See, I need a vaccine record because they updated it recently. You gotta have that for school. I had to contact Terrebonne Parish School Board District because I need a high school transcript. And Fletcher too, because this is all mission stuff and financial stuff all together. For their transcript, when I took classes with them from 2013 to 2015. I know it sounds like a lot of things, but because I came as a transfer, and that's why they ask for all those requirements. And note, if you are transferred from a university or a community college, they're gonna ask those crazy amount of questions. Like crazy amount of requests that you're gonna need to abide. Plus, you also abide with the first time university stuff. That's the rigmarole. Secondly, since I was a music student, and if you plan to, you might want to fill out an audition form early too. Like the first you get through your admission, applying for the school, and generally your financials, you might have to fill out that application and go into getting that audition spot too. If you study music. If you're not, it doesn't apply to you, but if you are, you might want to continue with that process. Because I don't know everybody's major or situation. I'm only speaking for the people like me that needs to hear this one. And for me, I had to do my audition online because of COVID. I didn't get face-to-face, but yours might be different because you might have to deal with face-to-face people, and you would have to also, I don't know if you had to do a theory test or whatever, but if you do, you know, they just do it to see what your level is. For my theory pretest, it did not happen until probably the first week of classes because my teacher needed to see where everybody is because everybody's at different levels. So be kind of prepared for that stuff. And if you're a music minor, they do also do auditions too. For minors, I'm not sure for minors, but I think they do. Just check with your program, the requirements for minors, and wherever it goes. So, and then after I completed my online audition, I've gotten official word through the mail saying I've been accepted to NSU. And I remember that there was a time, I think that June, I went to try out for drumline, but didn't make it. I just never tried out again though, because it wasn't my thing. But that following July, which was July of 2020, that was that summer that we had orientation. If your department offers orientation, do your very best to go to that. Because there's the reason why they're going to offer very valuable information. And also you get to hear from classmates and how their time is, you know, because there's some classmates in there that are very well-mannered. Let's say they have pretty good GPAs, they're respectable, the quality is noticeable everywhere around. So you want to go to your orientation, because that's how you're going to get to know some of the fellow students, like, and it's how they get to know the prospective students. And I'm glad I went to that, for the love of God. Yeah, I'm saying that, but that's my point to exaggerate it. And I went to, and also you will meet your teachers if your teacher shows up to that thing. I've got to meet Dr. Miranda there. Yeah, because here's what they did. They taught them briefly upstairs in Talbot with Dr. Ladd. Then afterwards, we went down into the auditorium, which is downstairs at Talbot. That's just called the theater out Danos. Thanos was the last name. So we went downstairs. We went into the faculty did an a recital. And after the show, after everything was completely done for the day, the students gets to talk with their prospective teacher. They're going to meet for the next 4 years. And that's how I got to meet and got to know Dr. Miranda, because he was there, pretty much. And I get some of the teachers. There's one that I remembered, and we still talk to this day. Her name is Dr. Acid. She wasn't really there when I started because she was pregnant. So, I tell you one crazy thing. And I remembered also before that time corresponding with the faculty over email, because find out what I needed to do, what materials I needed, all that stuff. And then boom, I went to class the very first days. And I was like, okay, what books do I need? What do I need from this class? And there was a time before that and this is what I used to do every semester. Create something called a master schedule. Yeah, master schedules meaning, okay, I figure out a plan of when I'm going to go to class. I figure out what times I'm going to go practice in between those classes, when I'm going to eat lunch, when I'm going to go home, when I'm going to do various other things, including performances. That way my butt will stay organized. And yeah, I had to say, when I was in school, a lot of times I'd tell some friends, no, I can't talk to them. Because I was just so dedicated with schoolwork. And it kind of gets to that point, see. And also, this is a good tip. Dedication is good, because then again, it tells those ones around you, do not disturb me. I'm doing schoolwork, and you don't need to be calling unless it's an emergency. So this is this one thing that adds to another. And so also, I did this pretty much every semester. Like, yeah, in the first semester I had to drop a class, and that's something you can expect. If you drop a class, your schedule will change a little bit or so. But doesn't mean that you're not going to use that time. Technically, you'll figure out a way to use that time. And I have, too. I'm not going to lie to you about all those things. So, and then after each semester, I go on the computer here, as you can see. On that computer, I'll go create a spreadsheet. Go figure out the classes, days and times, and figure out the practicing schedule, figure out the lesson schedule, figure out the eating schedules, and also have to schedule everything around performances. Oh boy, that was pretty darn funny. And what was crazy about that, especially I always had that one day a week when I wanted lessons. And there were some parts of it I wanted the lesson to be on Fridays. Oh yeah, Fridays. So I go in and type my schedule. And I go bug the dear life of my favorite teacher, Dr. Miranda. Say, this is the day I want to make sure nobody takes it. And yeah, I know I had to fight for it like crazy. But that was the point. I didn't want nobody to touch my time. So I do not want to change my schedule again. So that was the funniest thing I ever had to go through. And then most of it clicked from there because I was like, okay, I know after the first week or the second week, I know generally the routine around where to go. And yet sometimes, I tell you one thing, you will get used to it after time. You will find yourself organized. Like, I used to have my mornings to afternoons planned out during the day. Like, I know, and the professors know where exactly will I be if they need me. That's the thing. That way, if they need to talk to me about something outside of the class time or whatever, or okay, or if you need to take a time for advising, go on one of your breaks. If you have a break in between your classes, go and see if that advising teacher has a break that meets with yours. And my other advice between semesters you should do, if your registration opens for that following semester, I think sometimes for the spring they open for summer and fall. And then for the fall they open for the spring. You meet with that advisor, say, hey, I want to register. And typically you do that until you get into the very last semester. The last semester stuff gets kind of real, guys. And just like your undergrad stuff, you don't want to miss deadlines. Deadlines is important because then again, you don't want to register late because then again, you'll get screwed. So for me, when I was in between semesters, I go when the registration's open for my class, whether you're a freshman, a sophomore, your juniors, your seniors. The seniors would probably go first, possibility. They get the first open spots, and then your juniors go after them. And then after that, you got sophomores. And way at the bottom, you got freshmen. So go according to your list. If you have a banner or something, check that list. I would say keep an eye on your emails from your advisor to say that when you're going to be registering. And you want to go in and email your advisor back and say, hey, I need to register. I am whatever classman are you. And we need to schedule a time. And most of them will get back with you within 24 to 48 hours. Tops. Depending on how life is for them, But I say if they don't get back with you, be very patient because some things could come up and it's not their control what really happened. And once you go ahead and get your scheduling done, I would say the month before your classes begin, I would go on a computer and create a spreadsheet of your classes and when you have breaks and when you're going to be doing other things on that break. That way it gives you an ideal list of what to expect, and if you're a music student, you're probably going to use the breaks to practice. I did, and I'm not going to lie about that. And my favorite teachers, Dr. Barnick and Dr. Miranda, can probably protest the world over there. Because they know they heard it all, possibility. Just sometimes one of them will poke their darn head out in the hallway. Yeah. Got your back, Dr. Barnick. Yeah, you're in trouble. What in the world? Sometimes Dr. Miranda, oh yeah, he's the other one who would swing open one of the other doors into that band room. He said, what in the world? And I miss those too. But anyways, Oh, sorry, little allergies, but anyway. But you want to have that time completely organized as possible because, and also you have to learn how to be adjustable too because sometimes places might change too from time to time. But that's okay because you know what? It's, I had to learn that too. Sometimes I had to go all the way to the band room when they had the other instruments in for a performance, and I was like, after one of my classes last semester, so I have a recital, I don't have time to play, and so that was, you know, and also be adjustable means your classes can adjust too. Like if someone takes a lesson day from me, I had to adjust to probably the Monday, which I think on the last two, probably about three out of 8, my lessons were on a Monday. Then it just gave me some time to really focus, especially in the last 2 semesters. Some really time to focus on material, so I can make the most out of my recital and stuff like that, you know. And also the last semester of school was kind of the most craziest of times because we had to deal with deadlines a little bit more. For me, I had to deal with the deadlines with the registration fees. So as after I registered for the semester, after I've gotten through the financial aid, all that bullcrap, and classes start. Then I had to go in and sign a registration for graduation. And what it was, I think I paid $36 for that one. To go ahead and get that, so I get that diploma, I had to pay the extra. And what happened was after that we had an expo, my mom had to pay $80 for my cap and gown fees. Cost adds up, guys. I paid a little extra for my autism slash though. And the extras was for us with the pictures. So because we got somebody outside doing pictures outside the campus, but she's familiar with the campus because she went to school at Nichols. So we got somebody for that one, and that was about a good $200 off the bat for her. And afterwards we had a big party, so that was quite a bit of money. But hey, it was cool to have something like that, and have huge get-togethers that, because a lot of the family, and this is going to be your situation if you're in some of those universities, you might have limited number of tickets. I was given about 8 of them for graduation, so only certain members of the family can attend. So we just had a big party after and just had everybody, and on top of that, being homeless was the hardest. So I hope my little test video helps, of what you do and like what the deadlines look like for everybody, and see you later.